Morning, Western Heights family. It is a lovely Saturday, depending on who you are, but I'm crazy like this. I have a problem. More than just liking the cold weather and the snow, I have a problem. It's called foot and mouth syndrome. Or maybe you're familiar with another term for it, foot and mouth disease. Basically, I've had this problem my whole life, and what it means is that I have a problem with saying things that get me in trouble. I stick my foot in my mouth. Now, oftentimes I try to do this to be funny. Sometimes I really do it just because I'm not thinking through my words properly. Maybe you have the same problem as I do. Thing is, I can look at several instances throughout my life which this has been a problem. I once, because I thought it would be funny, in a conversation said that my mom has 7 chins. That was not funny. Or another time, on a first date with Katie, I ended up inadvertently calling her fat because I didn't think through my words. I could tell you story after story of times that I have said things that have gotten me in trouble simply because I just didn't think through it. A lot of times we have this problem. The problem, though, is not that I say it once. See, that can be forgivable. People can usually forgive whenever I say it once and no problem. It's whenever I try to get myself out. Maybe I try to explain why this was funny. That never helps. Maybe I try to backtrack, which doesn't get me anywhere. Or maybe the simple act of trying to defend myself gets me in worse trouble. And I end up getting nowhere. Past few days, I've watched people out on the roads driving, and they get stuck. And it's kind of like the foot and mouth disease. See, people get stuck on the roads whenever they're icy because they've made some bad decision, some poor decision, and they get their wheels caught in an icy slump. And what often happens in that moment is it doesn't matter trying to go forward, trying to go backward, trying to get out of it. It almost makes the problem worse. That's a lot how we are. The more we try to get out of the words that we've said, sometimes make the problem worse. So how do we get out? How do we get out of the problems that we have brought upon ourselves with the things that we say? Well, what we need is a clear path forward. We need a way to move forward in the relationship and in the idea. So how? Over and over in Scripture, we have this idea that says we need to choose our words carefully. We can see it in places like Proverbs, where it says that the words of the godly, of the wise, they're like honey, or they're like sterling silver. That would be the words that we're striving for. The words of the fool are ignorant and problematic. James tells us that the tongue, where our words come from, the tongue is like a fire or maybe a rudder that steers the whole ship wherever it may go. Now, oftentimes we look at that as a negative, but sometimes we need to recognize that words can be positive too. Sometimes the words that we can say help clear path forward. Maybe you've said some things that have gotten you stuck in the relationship. Maybe it feels like everything that you are doing is just like spinning your wheels and not helping. If that's you, then maybe the advice from Scripture needs to come to our hearts, into our words. Proverbs tells us, well, more so, the proverb says, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, O Lord. May everything that I say, may everything that I think be pleasing to God. May what I bring be pleasing. I'm not going to say that if we think through and choose our words carefully that it will avoid us from ever getting stuck. But when we find ourselves stuck, I do think choosing our words carefully will help us clear path forward. So maybe what you need to do this week, today, is you need to ask forgiveness from someone who you've offended with your words. Or maybe you need to offer forgiveness for someone who has offended you. Basically, what I'm saying is the only way we're going to get anywhere is if we clear a path forward. I don't know what that looks like for you, church family, but I know that every one of us needs to do a little digging and clear the path forward. May you be blessed this weekend, and may you find the places where you can take the next step forward in the relationship. Love you guys. See you later.